We're live. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Friday Night Live, and I would like to say hello to my fellow co hosts. The first being Ari G. Hello, Ari. Hope you're well.
Hey there. Great to be here.
And we got the Watch Sasquatch. Hello, Watch Sasquatch. How are you, my man?
Hello.
And Brian joining us. How are you?
Gents, how's it going?
What's up, buddy?
All is well. Guys, today's topic, I'm getting the watch buying itch. It's not good. Too many people are buying watches.
Everybody's doing it, yeah.
Right. We got Liberum joining the show. Hello, hello. Thanks for
Hey,
joining.
Liberum. Nice to see you.
Hey, good
How's it
evening,
going,
guys.
man?
How you doing?
How are you?
So yeah, guys, I'm getting the watch buying itch. It's dangerous, man. Too many people are buying watches in the community, and I'm like sitting here like, give me a new watch. I need a new watch. Just want to say and acknowledge the people in the chat. We got Mike joining us, saying it's 3 a.m. Lucky the bars are all closed. Thanks for joining us. Greatly appreciate that. We got Logan Hall, RG, Ryan reminding everybody to hit that upvote button. We got SLC Watch Collector. Thanks so much. We got Libera. Ooh, we got the wristwatch. Jesus, saying watch buying itch. Pretty hard to get rid of. Yeah, there's no getting rid of it.
There's an ointment for that itch.
Right. We got Bubba Hotep joining us, saying upvote now. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. John saying came over from Austin. Thanks to Austin. Appreciate you sending people over here. We got Air King Ben, and we got Young King joining us. Thank you guys. Thank you, Austin, for sending the people over here. So yeah, guys, the watch buying itch. We saw some great unboxing.
Cheers.
We got the Rancher joining the show. Hello, buddy.
Hey,
How are you?
how you doing?
Hey, Rancher.
What's
I'm
up?
doing good.
Excuse me
Wow.
for a few seconds. I'm gonna go get a drink and I'll be right back.
Hey, no worries, man.
That actually sounds very good.
We got Roy in the chat. Hope you're doing well, Roy. Yeah, so we got some pretty amazing unboxing. Ari, obviously, you just got that Lange.
Yeah.
We got.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. He's wearing it today. Let me showcase that.
Mm.
We got the captain joining us. Look at this. Whew. The cap. What's going on, buddy?
From his backyard, it looks like.
Maybe, or maybe somewhere else.
He's out in the Hamptons.
Maybe somewhere else. We don't know where in the globe I could be. We're doing wristwatch checks.
Yep.
Here we go. Yeah, that would actually be a great idea. I'm wearing the subby today. Wearing the No Date
Oh,
sub.
nice. Got the PEP.
Got the 6006. Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, Cap, I was just talking. The itch. Already got the new Lange, right?
Yes.
We got Cars and Corner
Congratulations.
unboxing the overseas.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I mean,
Beautiful.
JJ's adding pieces every single week. It seems, he should be doing updated state of the collection videos once a week. And it's so many people added. We got me and the captain going back and forth on what he should add. I'm like sitting over here like, give me a new piece. I need a new piece for myself. But
There could
Yeah.
be something on its way, maybe as early as Monday, Tuesday.
I
Nice.
like the sound of this. I
I'm
like
not gonna.
Destroying everyone's mortgage, one watch at a time.
I'm not
Right.
gonna. I'm not gonna.
Wow.
Leak anything.
Wow,
So this-
Cap.
Nice.
Pregrats.
This is a good point. I think it's AI or AL. It says upvote. My itch comes in waves. First of all, thanks so much for the upvote.
Actually,
And yeah, I tend to agree. Right, the itch doesn't come all at once. Right, you get that itch from other.
Friday
Man,
night. I'm almost done with this, guys. Look at this.
Oh, you know, I may join you with that Macallan 12. I'm
Wow.
go grab some
Yes,
right now.
Black label. Oh, I got a little bottle of that. I'm going to crack it open sometime. I like.
A little bit.
You guys are high rollers right there.
Hi. No.
Super chat. Super
Right.
chat.
I'll
Super
get
chat.
to it, no worries.
Oh,
Bubba
that
Hotep
is.
saying everybody has the watch buying itch right now. I'm blaming JJ. I tend to agree, man. JJ's adding way too many pieces. It's outrageous.
It's
JJ's
JJ's the fall
all-
guy.
Right.
It makes me
We're-
feel better when I buy another piece to know that, oh, you're not even close to JJ. So
Right.
all-
JJ
all
and
is good.
cars.
It's okay.
JJ
You're not
and
being
cars.
reckless because you're not close to JJ. That's right.
Yes.
I gotta blame Cars too. Cars is a bad influence on all of us, man. He's a bad influence. We got Watch Out sent upvoted good evening. Thanks so much. We got Eric King Ben. He's saying JJ is the AD. Yes, sir. He definitely is. And Beyond Time with the $5. Thanks so much. Saying Marco, the man, the myth, the legend. Appreciate you having me on early on the stream. It was a great.
Time, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers. It was a great discussion.
Cheers. Pulse.
So yeah, that itch, man, Cap. It feels like I've been away from the streaming gig so long. It's like I don't even know how to introduce the topics, man. But I want to get into this because I've been thinking about the collection, where to take it, right? Where to take the collection, and I've been looking at this video right here. So it's by Uptick Watch Reviews. Awesome video, where he presents like a bunch of 3-piece collection, and this one struck my eye because. I mean, I got the sub, right, which is the replacement for the Sea Dweller 4000. I got the GMT, which is the replacement from the Explorer 2. And then I want to get the Historic 1942, which is the replacement for the Lange here. At 3 and done. I mean, how many watches does a man need? You know what I mean? Like,
No. That's
and
good.
then I think to myself, 3 is loser talk. 3 is too small. Too small.
No.
Not a big enough collection.
3's good.
Three's a good number.
Yeah.
I got my combo meal deal. I'm good.
Right.
I'm happy.
There we go. The first
I could see
combo
myself
meal
going from 6 to 5 or 6 to 4, but 3 now.
Yeah, 3 is small. Like I think 5 is probably ideal size. 5 is probably an ideal size. Yeah. We got Polsky saying what watch will what will satisfy that itch. A Patek? No, I would definitely go VC. No questions.
You know, on that 3-piece combo meal deal, I was going to suggest the Patek 5170 for that third watch. Replace the Lange.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Why don't we bring it up? Let's talk.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. While you're doing that, cheers, Cap. You have the best outdoor lighting of all. Like better than Timepiece Fund. Dare I say better than cars? Yeah, it looks good. Looks good.
There we go. 5170.
That's where to sit.
I mean, what do we think?
Nah, you got it.
This is the first in-house Manuwine chrono. Pulsation. I like the white because it's got the pulsation scale around the dial. I like those white gold Breguet numerals. I mean, yeah, sure.
I can easily shrink the collection and buy that watch.
I mean, sure, Cat, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a lot of money to tie up in a piece. We got Danger reminding everybody to hit that upvote button. Yes, guys, please make sure to hit the upvote button. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. MJT saying, good day, gents. Haven't been on the streams for a while, and the rancher is here. I always miss the good stuff. He comes in peace. He comes in peace. So it's all good. No worries.
Now, the Lange and Söhne, is that like a 35 range? It's about that.
In terms of €35, is that what you're saying?
35K, yeah. 35K.
Yeah, around 35,000. Well, the good thing about that piece, right, is what's it called? The pusher adjuster, right? So the here, let me pull it up. Let me pull this up. Hold on 1 second. So this pusher adjuster on the side of the piece actually moves the entire calendar. So with one push of a button, it actually moves everything. So the moon phase moves, the what's it called? The date moves and the day moves, right? Which is great because you could put it down for a month and then just hit it 30 times, and you don't have to like set it like every other annual calendar. You just have to reset it one time a year using the actual pusher buttons, which is so ingenious.
I have to say, this is a beautiful watch. This is
spectacular.
Well, not too long ago, Lange was we called an in theory watch. Everyone talked about it, but no one actually bought it.
Right.
And I think that's changing right now.
Well, I think nobody can buy it now. The thing is they've dramatically reduced what's it called, their output, right? So they're at about maybe 2,000 watches a year. Oof. And they're looking to stay there. They're looking to stay there, right? Which is it's only gonna make these watches just more expensive. What's the price on this? I think it's about 35 US, about 45 Canadian, something like that.
So that Patek, the 5570, that's the serial. That one is about how much? Like
a 5170?
Yeah, the one that we just.
So it'll be like, here, we can pull it up. It'll be about like 60,000, I reckon, something close to there. Yeah, about 35,000 for this. But not too bad a price, all things, considering what you're getting here.
No, it's
Secondary. Nice.
German.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, what a piece!
It is beautiful, yeah.
Let's see.
But it's more the type of watch that you would wear with a suit, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, you can actually daily wear those pieces. I don't see a reason why you couldn't, right?
But it's more classical, right? And
definitely, the proportions to wear is a lot more classical. Yeah, but piece like 5170, yeah, it'll run you about 60,000, roughly.
Well, you know, if you can wear a Submariner with a tuxedo, as we've been able to for the last 60 years, then why can't you wear a dress watch with jeans?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Cap is wearing a polo with a 6006, right?
Cheers, Cap.
nice.
Cheers.
Cheers,
I
everybody.
100% agree with that. The Patek with the jeans and maybe a nice polo.
Totally works.
I agree. Why not?
But you will be disrespecting that watch.
This is sleeping.
Really?
Not really.
No, guys.
I don't know.
No,
if
we
that
cannot.
really applies.
We cannot have this on under any circumstances because with two cardinals and smoke, there's a strong possibility a new pope might get accidentally elected. So let's not have this on.
Cute. Yeah.
So Polsky brings up an interesting topic of discussion, which is Patek is better than Lange. So I'll say this, right? It's hard to compare the two. I think they're both extremely well executed. So like it just comes down to what do you prefer, the Swiss style of watches or the kind of the German style of watches. But I will say this, Lange technical in terms of like technical proficiency. I mean, what they've been able to accomplish in the short period, like the last 20 or 30 years, roughly, has been pretty incredible.
Honestly, I prefer Lange over Patek.
It's just different styles. It's German versus
design.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just different styles.
Is there what's the history of Lange? Like, is it in terms of pedigree?
Yeah, so they go back way back. So I mean, we're talking I think 1800s, right, Rancher? Correct me if I'm wrong. Like late 1800s.
Lange?
Yeah.
I believe so. I also think they made a pocket watch for you know who.
Yeah. So obviously they have the whole, what's it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
the
that whole
square mustache guy.
Yeah, so obviously there's that history, but yeah, they were a legit watchmaker back in Germany. The only reason they kind of went away was because the division of Germany, the division of Germany after World War II, right? So yeah, that really kind of forced them kind of into exile, if you will, and then I think it was the late ancestor of the original founder kind of picked back up and created 4 watches. It was the Lange one, actually the Pour le Mérite tourbillon we had up on B. Barcy's show earlier, and 2 others. So yeah, and shortly after the Datograph came actually. So
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
SLC says I wear my 6119R with shorts and a polo. Hey,
Awesome.
why not?
Yeah, I think, going back to that topic, I really don't think we live in a society anymore where any of those rules really apply. I mean, there's very few watches that I think you can't pull across, pull off with shorts and a polo or jeans and a polo. Like, certain reversos would be tough, right? There's certain dress watches that would be tough, but for the most part, like, nice pair of jeans. And it also depends on your body style, right? If you, if you look slovenly, doesn't matter how nice the jeans are, you're not going to look like Cap at the end of the day.
Reversal's a tough one, right?
Cap needs a shave, though, to be honest.
I think any watch that is like not circular, right, is a little harder because, like, for me, like when I see a Reverso, it's very much dress lenient, even though it was technically speaking, right, a sports watch to begin with. Like, I just see it as a dress watch, right? Yeah, I think it comes down to shape. Shape is definitely plays an important factor.
If I could point out young Kim's statement and take issue with it, I think Gele is far older than VC. Literally, I think it's been. There may have been a 6-month break in like the late '80s, but otherwise there have been Gele making watches or clocks since Edward IV.
Yeah, but who knows about these brands? That's the thing.
I think that it's the continuous because Blancpain is older than VC too.
Right.
right? There's like some
Edward.
well-known brands that are older than VC, but it's the continuous.
Right.
Edward the Fourth. Edward the Fourth. I mean, before Richard the Third.
Right.
I mean, before Henry the Eighth.
John
Well,
C says
that's
women recognize Rolex, not Patek and Lange. See, John is thinking about the things that matter here, guys. Right? I'm just kidding.
Some women with.
There's a point there. I think there's a broader point there that really everybody knows what a Rolex is. If you're wearing like a really, really esoteric Richard Mille, no one's going to know what that is. They'll think it's a kid's watch, right? Like watch people know these watches, not everybody,
Right.
not everyone on the street.
We got Daniel Katz with the $2.80. Thanks so much. Says, can't you wear a reverso with anything? You could, yeah, for sure. I mean, we're not I'm saying personally, I find it tends to lean more dressy.
There's
but
no
yeah,
fashion police. There's no
Right.
fashion police. Wear what you want. Yeah.
we're not the prognosticators of all things dress and
I mean,
sports, you know?
when people started wearing brown shoes with like black and blue suits, just fuck everything at that point. It's just like, no, it doesn't matter now. It
Right.
just doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
The horse has
together,
left that
it's just
barn.
bad.
long
Wait, what's
ago,
wrong with
right?
brown shoes?
Nothing if it's with a tan or a brown suit, but
Well, I've broken that rule a long time ago. I have a good pair of brown shoes.
Yeah, I actually like the contrast of a blue suit with brown shoes. To be fair, like a nice,
Me
like
too.
very tanned, like a dark tan. It's gotta have good patina on it.
I have an outfit like that with those dark tan shoes and a navy, and dark blue a suit. Works well.
And especially monks. I'm a sucker for monk straps. I love monk straps. Single, double,
Oh, okay.
especially monks. Yeah, monks are my favorite. Over Oxfords. I much prefer monks over Oxfords. That's another one. The shoe community is just massive, right?
Oh, they're hardcore.
They're
They are
hard-
hardcore.
There's shoes, like dress shoes, sneakers, and boots. There's like 3 segments, right? And they're
And
crazy.
you can pay a fortune, and like we talk about movements all day, they'll talk about the materials and the soles and how it attaches. Like
Right.
they're
Alan
nuts.
Edmonds. Alan Edmonds, man.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
Alan
there's
Edmonds
another
I've
great
heard of.
brand.
Well-
Meerman. Meerman is another great brand. So they're not super expensive. Here, let me pull them up. I've heard about these because I've trolled not trolled, like I've traversed some of the YouTube stuff. So these are great because they're Goodyear welted shoes, and they're not that expensive, to be fair. So like this is Canadian prices.
Okay.
So you'd be paying
These aren't terrible. These aren't
right
terrible.
but Goodyear welt is what's important, right? Because when they're Goodyear welted, you can get them resold and restained and refinished. It's worth it, right? Because you can get them resold many times.
Also, women notice shoes.
Definitely.
They do.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Nice pair of shoes goes a long way. Just keep,
But otherwise, I like Carmina. Carmina is also great.
keep them polished.
Yeah. I remember 25 years ago on my high school prom, I wore a tuxedo and a pair of Converse All Stars.
Tuxedo with all the Converse.
Yeah.
No, that was the style for a while. You could pull that off and do, and look really
that's
good.
his way of saying, what's it called? LeBaron was wearing a pair of Chuck Taylors. He's wearing an Aquanaut travel time, right? That's what John Mayer calls it, the Chuck
Yeah.
Taylor.
Which watch would go best in that outfit that you just described?
It's got to be like a Rolex. It's got to be
I'm
some.
thinking of sub.
It's got to be a
would go well.
sub, a no-date sub.
Yeah.
No
date
date
sub.
sub.
No
Yeah,
date would be
definitely.
great.
Or maybe a meal sub,
That
like
outfit,
a
let's be honest.
5517.
Or here's a controversial take on that. The rainbow, the Rolex, the rainbow one.
You're talking about
That's
Daytona
kind of-
Oh
Rainbow?
yes, because
Rainbow
edgy, right?
Daytona?
It'll be like edgy a little
Yeah,
bit.
that would be
Edgy all over.
Pop.
Maybe even like a Yachtmaster, like a slate like a gray
Yes.
dial Yachtmaster.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that would
yeah,
actually
yeah. That's
I
a
work.
good one,
like
too.
I like the slate. Yeah.
That would actually work, I think, with those black Converse. I
Or
think.
an Air King, or an Air King.
Air King would work too.
Nah, it's not edgy enough, right? It's got to
Yeah.
pop, right? It's got to
Yeah.
catch your attention.
Yeah, you want some color you're looking
Right.
for?
Yeah.
The
There
little
was-
rainbow.
Polsky asked
Yeah, because the
which brand
tuxedo
best
was, a
sweatband.
white T-shirt and black bow tie, and so I was thinking maybe the Air King.
It's awesome.
Santoni or John Lopez are excellent.
Rather than
I
put-
really am discouraged that that much effort was expended in answering that question. Like that's
It's the love of watches. It's the love of
it's
watches.
where watches and fashion collide. That's
Also,
that's
no,
where
the
we are.
sweatpants specifically. Like there is
Wait, what's wrong with sweatpants?
Sweatpants are awesome.
I okay.
I bought my Rolex. I bought my Datejust,
So
a pair of
Rolex is
sweatpants and a
definitely
ripped
the sweatpants,
T-shirt.
yeah.
Walked into the AD and they sold it to me. It was great.
I got to pull this up from Jim. Jim
They
Little
wouldn't let
says
me
Marco.
party with that outfit though.
Bruce Williams style.
Right. Just very quickly, I want to pull this up from Jim. Says Marco, I've now joined you in the Bruce Wayne Club. I got the call from an AD for my Bruce Wayne last week and got it Friday. Oh my goodness, he says I
That's
love
awesome.
it. Man,
How long
that's
is your
amazing.
name, Jim? How long has your name been on the list for that? I'm just curious.
kinda
Write it in the
wanna know.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah, she told me 6 months, guys. 6 months. So let's count down.
I mean, why
that the
Bruce
same-
Wayne? Why not Batman?
Well, here's the thing, right? So
They call it Batgirl, which is
2 months. Woo!
Yeah.
2 months.
Because of the Jubilee bracelet.
Dang.
Yeah, so
Alright.
here's the thing. I would just call it Batman on Jubilee, right? But they come up
Yeah.
with the name Batgirl, right? So I'm like, well, hold on, that doesn't really make sense. Like,
As
what's the name of the Pepsi on Jubilee? Because Pepsi came on
Because-
Oyster originally,
Yeah,
right?
right.
the
That's
Lady
what I asked.
Pepsi.
What is it, the Pep Girl? Like, is it the
Lady-
Pep Girl?
Lady Peps.
That's what I
Lady
don't
Peps.
get.
It's a
right?
Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
Pepsilicious.
The Tudor, right?
Diet Pepsi. Or
So I say,
Pepsi-
fight it.
Pepsi
Why don't I
Light.
just call it
Pepsi
the
Light.
Bruce Wayne? I'll just call it the Bruce Wayne.
I think the Bruce Wayne's a great name.
It's
I
the
think
dressed
a
up version of the Batman.
Not a
So
state
my,
ID,
my
no
favorite
purchase
is
history,
definitely the Batman on Oyster. The this on Oyster is my favorite.
Oh,
Yeah, I
it's
think you
coming.
can't
It's coming, Ari. I could hear the music in the distance. No. It's coming. I'm
I
telling
wasn't
you.
that wild with mine.
yeah.
That is beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
I mean,
The blue-black colors are just so like understated. It doesn't like catch
Yeah.
people's attention.
Seriously, like
and I think because I'm asking for retirement, since I am active duty Air Force, it just
you
the
got a
blue.
shot. You got a
It's
shot.
the blue.
Yeah.
It's the blue. She was like, "Oh, you're retiring." Yeah, so
And
That's
definitely,
a great story. They should
definitely, that
definitely
piece
get
will
one.
go with any
Yeah.
outfit. You
Right.
can dress up on a suit, or you can go
100%.
sporty with jeans and in a polo, and
Oh
it'll
yeah,
be awesome. Yeah.
yeah, no question about it. This is like such a versatile guys. Would you hate me if I said I've never worn this like to school or anything like I wear it out, right? But like I have to know
Oh, you,
where
you
I'm-
don't wear it to class.
And
No, I
then
don't
you
wear.
talk
I'll wear
about
the
me.
sub to class. I'll wear the sub to class.
And then you talk about me, man.
Yeah, I know, but I wear it like at home if I'm going to like a family event or something like that. Like
To
I
be
just
fair, you
It's an
shouldn't wear
expensive
you
watch,
shouldn't wear this watch until you actually graduate from college. You don't deserve
that's a
to
good
have
point,
it.
right? Is it?
Yeah.
That's a good point, right? That's a good.
You know what I mean? It's like you graduated. It's almost like, okay, now I can wear it. It's like
But Jim, congratulations again,
gift.
man.
Yeah.
Enjoy it in good health.
yeah, if I score it before March, I won't wear it until March. How about that?
Okay. Okay.
Now,
are you man enough to wear it? They're begging for you. All right, I got to stop
Yeah.
at the
Here we
break.
go. Diego,
So
ask him.
I don't think you want to play that game with Quicker. I think
No, those are movie
No,
lines
I'm
anyway.
quoting Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah, yeah.
oh
Alec
yeah. No, I
Baldwin.
kind of knew. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cheers.
I just can't get it out of my head. Anyway,
So Diego asked him, "What's your next watch?" I think it's got to be the 1942, right? His Vacheron history. It's got to. That's the one, man. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know why you do the 1942 if it's just a rest stop on your way to the Corne de Bosch, man.
I can get both. Why not both?
Marco, with all due respect, but you're too young for that type of watches.
What?
Oh.
What do you mean? I'm too young.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get this for like a decade. Like I wouldn't get it until like I'm 30 or something. I need to
wait.
buy a house first, Like there's.
let me
things that-
explain. Let me explain. He means that you were born too late to wear that watch.
Oh no, it's gorgeous. Did you see the wrist shot that
It
I put
is,
up?
it
Here,
is.
hold on. Let me show you the wrist shot.
I think that is understated. I love that.
I love it too. It's just so beautiful. Hold on one second. Let me.
Modern
I
iteration.
like the overseas. That's my favorite Vacheron.
This is
Overseas is nice too.
Yeah.
Other than this, I'm telling. I try like the Corne de Bosch is gorgeous, obviously, but this is such a it's such a nice piece. Here we go.
What about
Okay.
the 1921 Historiques Americaine?
It's a nice piece too. That's a really nice piece.
that's beautiful. I mean, we've seen the platinum version, which is
The
amazing.
Toyota Mo.
But
No,
any of
Gotta
those,
find
any of those are good. I
Here we
love
go.
the rose gold one. There we go.
Look at that. Look at that dial texture and those inky numerals. So I got to try on all these
Inky
pieces in
numerals.
London, right? Man.
So it felt good on the wrist. Did
It's
it feel
gorgeous.
good?
Oh yeah. It's
Sometimes you meet your heroes, you're disappointed, but this
Oh,
was not a disappointment.
The only thing I kind of sucked was, so I was in Selfridges, which is a great place to try on watches, and I wanted to try on the platinum corne de bosch because I got to try on the steel one. But unfortunately, it's like such an expensive piece, so they had to like put you up in the private area, and it was taken, and you had to make a reservation beforehand. So yeah, I never got the opportunity. But yeah, I got to try on like this compared to like a Code 1159 from AP. Man, it just blows it completely out of the. Oh, I didn't want to do that.
It's awesome.
Blows it completely out of the water. Yeah. Bubba Hotep says the best monk strap shoe is Salvatore Ferragamo Tremezza. I'll take your recommendation. I will take your recommendation. 2 months, nice.
Well, always Italian moccasins are very elegant, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Ferragamo. I like Ferragamo. I'm a big fan of Ferragamo.
Yeah, Ferragamo is obviously a great brand. I just want to say,
stick to my
Jim,
Echo
thank you
boat
very
shoe.
much for your service. Really appreciate
Echo?
it. I'm so glad
my
you got
Echo
the one.
boat shoes. I'll just stick to the simple stuff.
Oh man, what are some other pieces? This is another standout piece. I got to be honest. If the lugs on this weren't so long, I think I'd prefer it over the 1942. It's so stunning in person. It is unbelievable. The way the three different guilloche patterns pop against one another, it's unbelievable. It's really spectacular.
All they need to do is just change, like, add a slight ridge to the lugs, change the shape of them slightly so they just don't look like giraffe necks.
Look at this. Polsky says Watch Colonel seems like an RM type of guy. LOL. So I did get to try on an RM. Hold on, let me find this in here. Hold on a minute. Let me stop sharing. But yeah, I got to try on like 3 RMs while in London, and you know they're nice. They're nice. They're okay. They're nothing great. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like they're impressive, right? They're impressive.
Engineering wise, they're impressive.
Yeah, because you know like what the cost is and what have you, right? So you make it out to be like this.
No. RM is like rap music. It confuses and angers me.
Here we go.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
you
hideous.
can like it's a piece that like you can tell it's a like a good quality piece.
You can tell you can feel the quality. It doesn't feel
Yeah,
like
it feels very good quality. But the only problem I have with it is it's like I don't know if it's good quality to the point at which it sells for on the secondary market. Like it's just it's a nice piece, just it's not for me, you know.
Those and Hublot, no. No.
No, it's more like I don't know. It's actually not like anything else. I think so. Not even Frank Mueller, because there was a couple Muellers that I got to try on over there. The wrist presence is very different of those pieces. Very different. The
Dr.
shape.
11 has it right. Is that an eventi? That's
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Todd looking suspicious like George Daniels, Roger Smith there. Yeah. Amtech Nick says the Bregas are the only watch that can have straight. Yeah. So the way those cases are made, right? It's the lugs are welded onto the case, and then they remove the welds by hand, right? The marks of the welds by hand. It goes back to like an old way and a traditional way to make the watches, but it doesn't mean that it's the right way, right? That's kind of the point. But yeah, definitely an event. It's an event. But yeah, listen, it's a good quality watch, no question about it. It's definitely good quality. You can feel the quality is there. There was a couple others. Let me see. Yeah, so these I tried on. Oh shit. I tried on the one on the far right and this one in the middle too. To be honest, I should have tried on the one on the far left, but I didn't want to bother the guy too much. But yeah, these were nice also.
looks like the cereal aisle in the grocery store.
Yeah.
They just don't do anything for me. Like Frank Mueller, a lot of people detest those, but I can see myself
this is
wearing
the-
certain Frank Muellers. RMs are just
This is the captain's piece, the Hublot Spirit of Big Bang.
That's a terrible picture of that, though.
It's
I
a
mean,
video. It's a video.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
do it any justice
This is a
whatsoever.
rainbow. Yeah, this is pretty much what it was like in London, right? It's just a grouping of mostly the Hall models, right? Oh yeah,
So
let me
ask
drop
you
the
a
link if
question,
anybody
Matt,
wants
right?
to jump on.
Everybody says and I have to take their word for it, right? RMs are a fantastic piece of engineering. I've read a lot that indicates, a lot of nice engineering went into it. But quality watch, I hear that thrown out a lot with RMs or quality watches. Do we have any empirical evidence that actually says that? Like, or do they have a fantastic timekeeping, low maintenance record? Like,
Who's this?
RMs.
Yeah, so they're the way that they're made, right? So the movements are from Renault and Patek, right? Which is, like the legendary movement maker of the Swiss watch industry, like probably the best movement maker of all time. Now they're owned by AP. But yeah, almost all the, some of the great independent watchmakers of this generation, I want to say, Andreas Strehler, the Gromfeld brothers, Robert Rubel, Stephen Forsey, and many others came from there. So proficient, like their technical proficiency is excellent. But obviously there's a lot of hype surrounding the fact that they're, big in popular culture. Like the rappers will say, look at my Richard Mille. Got the Richard Mille on, the Richard Mille.
Yeah, but again, technical
Happy
proficiency
Meal
doesn't necessarily translate to quality or reliability when it goes to production. I'm just curious, like, did you get a chance when you were at the London Watch Show to ask that question? Is, do people ever get a dud RM? Are there more dud RMs than other, like, high-end brands?
That's a good question. But not that I've seen or read, but the ones that I tried on were, they didn't seem like that. They were well built. They felt well built. Bro.
I'll tell you, Sasquatch. Nobody knows. You know why? Because
Nobody
they don't
will ever admit to it.
That's number one. But number two is they don't buy those watches to actually tell time.
Yeah,
like it could be like 10 minutes off a day.
No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be 10 minutes off a day. Come on.
I'm dizzy. That's a nice comment.
I'm using hyperbole. It's called hyperbole.
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
So
but
I'm just saying that, the people who are buying these are, I guess flexing, showing their, chops or whatever, their accomplishments, and they're proud, and they deserve to buy whatever they want.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
But are they using they're not using a tester to see if it's +2, -2 within,
So just coming, taking out of business school for a second, when you sort of define what's the definition of value, it's not the quality of the items or the, or the amount of material in it. It's what you think it's worth. That's a part of it. And so they've been able to build it up where people feel it's worth $300,000 or whatever for an RM. Yeah. My wife still says, like, she said it was like $1,200 when I showed her this. Says, how much do you think it was? She said $1,200. And I told her the price. She thought I was crazy. And I think she was praying to God I wasn't thinking of buying one, which she doesn't have to worry about.
That goes back to the earlier comment. Women, Rolex. Women.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
I just want to pull this.
I've got the perfect marketing slogan for Cartier, okay? Cartier. It's like Rolex for white chicks.
You know what?
That's good.
I get it. I actually like Cartier. I like Cartier.
Yeah, Cap likes Cartier.
Cartier.
So these are really nice. This is a great suggestion, to be fair, by Diego.
Is it true that Cartier watches are made in China?
Oh, a lot of these parts are made in China. I think they're just assembled in Switzerland.
I heard that somewhere.
So
to be fair, right? I love the Frank Mueller suggestion, but if you're going to go for a 2-register manual wine chrono for a very good deal, I think the Breguet 3237 are as good as it gets. So you can find these pretty cheap, to be like, considering what you're getting. I mean, it's not cheap watch by any stretch. Like 18,000 US, and you get the La Mania 2310, so the 321 movement,
Well,
which was
looks very familiar.
I'm not a fan of the snowflake. I despise snowflake hands. But the Tudor, the current one, Panda and Reverse Panda, with I think those are really standouts for 2-register chronographs.
Yeah, those are good too. Yeah, no question.
Also, and of course, the Longines, I used to call it the brown eye when it came out, but the Longines Big Eye. I think that is outstanding.
It is. It's your time to shine. There we go. I think so too. No question.
Nice one.
I think it's a gorgeous piece. Heritage inspired.
Yes.
I mean, just gorgeous.
Very nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
Then we also should talk about the offshore Royal Oak offshore 44. That would be a nice piece.
Maybe not. I don't know. This is not my kind of piece. Pendulum with the $2 saying, "Great to see you."
You're like
again.
AP?
Great panel. Thanks so much, Pendulum. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a nice brand. It's just it's not for me, you know.
At least the
Some
good
people
thing.
don't
The
like
good
it,
thing about
yeah.
AP. Now I gotta defend this brand again. You know, Marco knows the deal. Marco, they're independent. They're independent. They're true.
Stop it. They're not.
I got,
they're
I got an AP.
VC.
There we go,
Lange.
yes.
I got an AP right there.
They got the
That's the
Richemont
only AP
umbrella.
I'll ever buy, I think.
But to Marco's point, over the court, the lineup of VC, I guess pound for pound, like in terms of variation, you gotta give.
Oh, yeah,
you
it goes
gotta
to
give the
VC.
nod to VC.
Yeah.
And
Well, actually, I would give it to Patek because Patek
no, I'm
has
just comparing VC to AP
to AP.
right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would give the nod to Patek because they dominate, I think, the luxury sports watch genre because they have kind of a two-headed dragon in the Aquanaut and the Nautilus,
Yes.
and then obviously they're probably most known for their complicated dress watches, right? Which is what I think it is where Patek really shines. But if I have to give them a direct competitor, I think VC is right there with the overseas, right? I mean, they're really missing that other head. Like the other head to the dragon to really say, they're right there with them.
They're trying with the 56, but we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen with the 56. Antechnic brings up a good point saying Romain Grosjean RM survived his impact in Bahrain. That was a serious accident. So yeah,
That's true.
Cool.
that's
Some evidence.
Yeah. Eric King Ben saying he watched the birthday stream last night. Wow, Viking House. Yeah, you'll just hear me like screaming out like $1,000. Yeah, it's. I always go back to that stream like maybe once a month and shed a tear or two.
When was that stream, Marco? What month was that stream?
It was
March
April, right?
27th.
It was March, sorry.
Yeah, March.
Yeah.
March
It's also
27th.
Ming month. Isn't it Ming
Ooh.
month? Or no?
Everyone should go
Actually,
watch
that's a good.
that stream.
That's a good question. We got Mr. GMT, my brother, in the
I threw
chat.
him the link.
Ming's.
The legend,
Ming's.
the myth,
Ming's.
the man, the myth,
yes.
the legend, GMT.
Yes, sir.
Ah, look at these two, always making out in chat. He just super chatted for Cap.
Jim saying Vacheron
You need
comes
to
to
get a
vent
room.
overseas. Yeah, that's the piece that cars is unboxed. My goodness, that's a piece.
With a
hold
blue
on.
dial.
That's a nice one too, but I don't know. That Everest is
It's
damn
stunning,
nice.
isn't it? Isn't it
That
stunning?
Everest
Yeah.
is damn
I-
nice.
Knocked it out of the park. That's going to be unobtainium pretty soon, I think.
Let me ask you, do you
That's
guys
okay.
think that they're going to double down on it in terms? By that I mean, they did a Corey Richards. Would there be another
Yes.
like Omega style, 150 piece?
No,
Pick your
No.
maybe not an Everest, but a different. Could they go in a different direction, but use the overseas umbrella?
Or like the Grand Canyon? They're going to do like the Grand Canyon next? The
Could be
the
some
VC
ultimately
overseas
some
dual
parasailing.
time
No,
Grand Canyon.
so they
Someone
introduced
jumping
right.
over.
They introduced
Maybe.
the
Maybe.
titanium, the tantalum, and stuff like that, right? I could totally
Yeah.
see them doing an overseas dive watch tribute, like Reservoir did the Greg LaCour. I could totally see them doing something like that, and I think you limit to 150 pieces. They got for 150 pieces, they got a outsized amount of press on that, right? Absolutely, like I could totally see them doing that because all they got to do is beef it up just slightly and then say it's 300 meters, right?
We cannot leave behind the El Primero.
Al Primero is a good one. I think Zenith is a really underappreciated, underrated brand. Mr. GMT with the $2 saying the captain is a legend. Indeed, he is. I appreciate having him on as always. We got Jim Little.
GMT.
This will be a good topic of conversation. Saying as a whole, I'd go a Lange over any of the Trinity. So problem is, right? It comes back to this idea, right? What do you prefer, German or Swiss? But again, I think that Lange doesn't have, like, I think in dress watches, you can make the argument, and it's a very solid one, that they beat Patek in terms of technical proficiency.
And an annual and perpetual complication.
Yeah. So I think, like, in terms of the watches they're making, they're just, you can argue they're just better than Patek, right? But the sports is really where they lag behind. And we got Todd joining the stream. Hello to Todd.
Attempt.
See you, Todd.
Hey.
Can you hear us?
I think you can hear us.
Todd. Hello.
Is the Lange and Söhne still made a handmade watch?
Yes. Well, oh no, hold on. Todd, we can't hear you. You're muted. Here we go. Oh no, you muted
Is the
yourself.
Lange and
there
Söhne
we go.
still made?
Hold on. Todd, you got to mute the stream in the background.
No, he sounds just like the other guy.
There we go. There we go. How's it going, Todd?
There we go. Hey,
Go ahead.
good to see you.
Good to see all of you.
I-
Yeah, Dr. Levin.
Let me just get these super chats very quick. We got REG with the $2 saying fun for the captain and GMT to get a room. I tend to agree.
Now let's defund. Let's defund that idea. That goes to the Marco Fund. Thank you very much.
Daniel Katz at the $2.80 saying you are all on tonight. Yes, sir. Guys, I'm sorry I have been away. Like I just got overwhelmed with school. I'm getting my legs out from under me. You know, I got to do the stream just to practice a little bit, get back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It can be a balance, like a relaxation for you a little bit, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And school is just to hang out with everybody. And we got Quicker Than Drawing with the $2 saying, welcome back to the streaming community. The
Community.
That's what it's all about.
Community.
Yeah.
Todd, how are you, man?
Good. So you had a good trip, it looked like.
Yeah, London was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It sounded like you had some concerns with the travel or just getting there. Did it all work out okay?
Yeah, it all worked out okay. It's just so much red tape to go through. Like you had to get you had to get a COVID test to come in, right?
Right.
Obviously before you ever leave, before you leave to London, then you have to fill out like a passenger locator form, right? And then you have to buy a day 2 test, and then you have to buy a test obviously when you're coming back, right? So the only time they actually checked any of my COVID tests was on my way back, which is ridiculous. So I spent like $600 in COVID tests for them to check one of them. And like to fill out the passenger locator form, there's all these different like hoops you have to go through, and like you have to buy the day 2 test. I never received the day 2 test. I called them, asked for a refund. They're like, well, no, you have to take it, so we can't give you a refund. I'm like, dude, it's $150. Like, what do you mean you can't give me a refund? I never fucking got the thing, you know? Like,
Wow.
yeah, it's really, yeah. But other than that, it was a great trip. Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. It was a really great trip. Jesus, Ollie with the $55 saying the relaxation fund. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, Ollie.
Very generous.
That's very generous of you.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah,
Ollie,
I got to see so many. I probably tried on Todd like in the 2 days, right? So Friday and Saturday, because I live in Montreal, right? And I don't know if you've been to Montreal before.
No,
right?
we discussed restaurants and things, you and I. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not a big watch market, right? Not like London is. So I don't get the opportunity to see the pieces that I got to see. So I really took the time to take it all in, try to probably about 5 or 10 million in watches. The only thing that I didn't get to see was any real like independents, like FP, Gromfeld, or any of those.
Well, that
those
show
kind of-
probably wasn't. I assumed. I mean, how many great
Yeah.
dealers carry that sort of stuff, and it's not about that, right? It's
Right.
the meat and potatoes. I don't mean that in a pejorative way. It's just more about like meat and
No.
potatoes.
The liquid stuff.
The
stuff
core
that sells
watches.
quickly.
The core watches. Yeah.
that they can trade with good velocity.
Right.
I guess I was curious to know, not specifics like this watch was the best or that. I was curious to know what your just general broad takeaway was, just in terms of that area of the watch world, which is one area, but like what was your takeaway like about the market in general, just about what you see just general trending, like in the broadest sense. Were there any useful takeaways, really, or not so much?
So I kind of discussed this in the first stream that I did, where I said, so the first day was really when I got to try on, like your the stuff that they didn't have at the show, right? So Breguet, Lange, VC, a bit of Patek as well. And what I kind of came to find was about the 25 to 50,000 range is really when you'll see like objective differences in the case, movement, dial, design, finishing of the movement, complication, etc. I think beyond that point is really when you're kind of choosing like a specific complication, be it a perpetual calendar, a chronograph, perpetual chrono, But the quality isn't necessarily like that much better, right? The law of diminishing returns really starts to take over, in my opinion. That's the kind of first takeaway. The second takeaway I found was the luxury sports segment just isn't for me. You know, like it's just like Royal Oaks, Nautilus. Like I've tried on Nautilus before. I wasn't impressed then. I'm still not like. It's a wonderful watch. It's beautifully designed. You know, it's very thin, super wearable, but it's just not the type of watch that I'm really interested in. And then in terms of the market, like it's as strong as I feel it's ever been, right? There were so many people at the show, probably about 3,000 or so people on the Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a huge turnout, right? Everything got sold out. So yeah, I think the market is, you know, as strong as it's ever been, for sure. I hope that answers your question.
I'm trying to get a sort of a broad overview sense of that, because I know you'll discuss specific watches, and you're doing that already. So
Now, as a general rule, though, in London, were your takeaways primarily curry-based, or is there a lot of fish and chips?
So I didn't try. Like, listen, I'm Italian. I don't do well with the. I guess you could call it ethnic food, if you will. But food with like a lot of spices, right? It's just not. So I tried fish and chips. It was delicious. You know, like you have to try it.
I wish I would have known you were going, because I know so many good restaurants in London and so many
Marco.
restaurants.
Yeah.
Marco, you live with your mom. You don't have to tell us you're Italian.
Yeah.
We know you're Italian.
So that's the thing. Like, I don't really deal well with those kind of foods. It's going to cause me a big stomach ache, and I'll be in the bathroom all night. So yeah, no, none of those, unfortunately. But yeah, fish and chips was delicious. It was very good. You had to try it. But yeah, I'd love to go. Honestly, Todd, I wish I can go to there's an event in October. It's Watch Time New York, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
that one's going to have a lot of big name independent. Like Carrie's going, Grubel Forsey's going. Here, let me actually pull this up to watch.
Yeah, I've been kind of confused with regards to some of these, because I'm sort of new to this. Like, there's the IWJG thing, and that's, I guess, dealers only, right? Like a normal person like really can't attend, which is a shame, because you know, you see those shows on, you know, like the other people's big feeds, like Gray Market, but you can't go. And then some of these other ones, like this one you're talking about, like you can go to. So,
Yes.
is it worth a stop in on a Sunday to walk around, you think, kind of thing?
I mean, just look at the brand. I mean, you got if this is what you're into, right? It's Armin Strom. Obviously, you can probably see a couple of their resonance pieces, which is pretty incredible. Breguet, obviously, Beauvais. De Bethune will be there. Chopek, Grubel Forsey, Laurent Ferrier.
I mean, come on, G-Shock.
MBNF. Are you into MBNF at all?
I saw that do the G-Shock.
Oh no! Wait, it looks like Carrie isn't going anymore. I saw. Oh, he pulled out, I guess. Unfortunately, but yeah, I know Carrie Voutier wanted to go, or was planning on going, or he was in the list originally. But yeah, no. Unfortunately, no more. Just want to catch up on the chat. Jim, take care, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. I want to say thank you again to Ali. Really appreciate the generosity. We got Beyond Time with the $5 saying, have a great rest of the stream. Great panel. Good night, gents. Take care. Really appreciate you stopping by.
And everybody who hasn't subscribed to the Beyond Time channel, that's B. Bardsley. If you search still for B. Bardsley, you'll come up with Beyond Time. I don't know if you want to drop the link at some point for him, Marco.
Sure. Yeah, I will do it now. Here, let me.
Great channel.
Yeah, he's got some good interviews. He's got good panelists. Let's get him to the 1,000 subscriber mark so he can quit his day job.
I want to say good day to Sean in the Dark. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, that was kind of the London trip in a nutshell. I think the Saturday was more your hype pieces, you know, your AP, Royal Oaks, mostly Nautilus, a lot. Like I tried on every Nautilus other than the 5990. Which is the dual time chronograph, the travel time chronograph rather, in the Nautilus form. A lot of Aquanauts, some Royal Oaks, actually not as many as you'd think, and then a lot, like there's a sea of Rolex, it's just a sea of Rolex. Yeah,
sure.
like
build a
Kyle
swimming
Bryant.
pool of Rolex. And
Here, so I will show you. Like this is what most
backstroking through
Rolex.
Right.
Sea of Rolex.
Hey, Marco, if you don't mind, before we get into the sea of Rolex, Diego asked a question, which I think, you know, these questions go over well. They're looking to buy a watch for under 2,000, around 2,000 for a coworker, right?
Yeah, please, let's do that.
We don't. we don't talk enough about those value watches, and everybody responds well to it.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one.
Yeah, look, bam,
Yeah,
there's one
I
right
think-
there.
I think that's a great watch. Yeah, I think that's certainly an option. Here, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me pull up some other.
Yeah. I mean, bang for
I
the buck.
love.
The only quibble I have about the Big Eye is like, I
Yeah.
kind of wish they would have taken it out the rotor, made it manual line, and made the case a little bit thinner like the original.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually not that thick.
That's a
It's
good
actually
point.
okay, but I get your point for sure. You want a thinner watch.
Yeah.
I think this also is a great option. I wouldn't go for the sector dial. I would go just for the black dial. I think these are, universally well loved. They're just simple.
Yeah.
And if not, honestly, you don't have to spend that much. Like I would just go for a simple Tissot Powermatic 80 if it's
Beautiful
The
watches.
Tissot's,
Beautiful watch.
I think this is
That's
perfect.
a really nice
Good
watch.
value.
Like you'll get this for $850 roughly. I think you get it on a bracelet, blue dial. You get an 80-hour power reserve. Like I think this is just
It's a
perfect.
beautiful watch. It's
Beautiful
fully
watch.
featured. Yeah.
And you get to save like $1,200 roughly.
I like the Oris dial if
I
you
wish-
see, we're into diving or that type of thing. More of a
Yeah,
beach
if we're
guy.
talking Tissot, you get a PRX for a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, the PRX is also a great option. So here, geez.
If you want a funky dial.
See, I kind of wish though they would have left the date out. It made it a no date.
Yeah, I'm
On the
with you.
PRX?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
That would
Well,
be a
not
nice,
a little
clean
classy.
watch. Yeah.
clean.
Yeah.
Is it
Well, no,
right?
it's just like because unfortunately, since we kind of know how the sausage is made, when you see the date that far in, it's just like, okay, you've used a smaller movement and you're using a spacer.
Right. We need to talk to Jonathan about like putting some putty and then just like taking out the date wheel. And
Great idea.
we need to get Dr. Dremel on this.
Yeah, I think the Tissot though, the Powermatic 80 blue dial.
Fill it in.
That's the one.
Sorry, was that Tissot like a cheap copy of the Royal Oak
No, it's actually a Tissot that they made back in the 70s.
Yeah.
before the Royal Oak?
Yes. No, right around the same time. It's Genta inspired for sure.
Definitely, I can see.
See, I don't
that.
know. Now the thing is, though, I've got like the what is it? Crap. The Omega with integrated bracelet. Shit. I've got 3 of them. I can't think of one.
It's the Chronoscope or the Chronoscape? What's it called?
No, not that.
Aquaterra.
No, not the Aquaterra.
Constellation? No.
Hold on, very
Yeah.
quickly. He says, "This is my
Ville?
new blue code, the 4th one, awaiting for the code 1159 perpetual."
I
Nice
go get it,
piece.
but I have no idea which box it's in.
That's a nice. I like that.
So I got to try
Cosmic.
on.
The Omega Cosmic. Now
This
that thing was
Cosmic.
And
made
this
out in the '60s, a decade before Gerald Genta did either of his designs for Audemars Piguet or
Oh,
Philippe.
I know which one you're talking about. I've seen that watch. It was Guido Pelagos wearing that watch when he met with Austin. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And see, I assumed it was a homage watch, or sorry, a homo age watch. But then actually was corrected on that by a viewer.
I just want to pull this up. Pendulum with the $10 saying sent you an email. So I got to try this on also in London. To be fair, listen, if you enjoy it, that's all that matters. I'm not a fan of it personally. Yeah, just wasn't. But I think. Listen, enjoy the piece, man. It's beautiful.
I don't like their
Sweet.
their no complication 1159s except with the that
430
one
date.
dial,
kidding.
which the name's escaping me right now. But I do like their chronos. I do like some of the stuff they're coming out with, and I still think that the curvature that they added is really, really nice.
The case, I will say this: the case is phenomenal. The case is incredible, and the way that the light play of that. So this style is really nice because it's a sunburst type dial. Like the effect is really nice, and the lighting where I tried it on was great. The way that glass is like, because the glass isn't straight, right? It's very like curved.
Yeah, the curves.
So the curves of that glass reflects the dial really, really nicely. This one in particular was nice, but the other ones, like I tried on the burgundy as well. There's one that's just like a matte blue, like a very
Yeah,
like,
those are weak. Those are very
those
weak.
are not great. When there's no like sunburst pattern effect, they're not as nice. This is definitely
It also defeats the purpose of having the curvatures of the sapphire.
exactly correct.
Right? Like
100%.
the depth effect the sapphire gives it at different angles on the flat dial makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a substantial piece. I mean, you know, on my Instagram, I did a little wrist roll when I was at AP, the boutique, and the woman was tremendous. When I asked for this watch, they were shocked because she's like, I have 200 people on a list for a Royal Oak. And I came in and said, can I see the new code 1159? And she's like, absolutely. I was, you know, a quiet day at the store. So I found it to be, it's very substantial though. The piece is hefty
And
Right.
and well made, and the movement's beautiful.
Right.
I found though the contrast. I don't know, Marco, if you agree. Did you find that the sub registers? I didn't see enough contrast with the dial. I know it's got like that smoke blue sunburst
Yeah.
effect,
It's
but
it's
I
a bit of
found
a
it.
weird-
Yeah, it was. That was the one thing I had to say. You know, they could have done maybe a little differently. But
I mean, it's kind of in the nascent stages of this line, right? What
Oh,
was
yeah.
introduced in 2019.
oh yeah.
so this is obtainable. I guess, Captain, by your point, this is
Yeah, it's pretty
obtainable.
good.
I could have walked out. She was asking me for my credit card. So yeah,
This
Most
is
of the
new.
1159s are very obtainable.
And what was the price? I'm just curious, or
I
price
bel-
range if you don't want to give a price.
no. I think they may have it on their website, but it was 48,000, I believe.
You were looking at the white gold.
Yes, yes, the white
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
They have some steel ones with some decent dials that are the 26, 27,000.
Yeah,
Did you
that's
see,
swallowable. Yeah.
did you see the AP drop this week with the new jeweled, like the rainbow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a disaster, Todd. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's-
What's that about?
That's a good
somebody
question.
had snorted too many pixie sticks in the morning.
46,000
They're on
Swiss
that
francs?
Marcello diet. Is
I
what
thought
it
that happened after the Black Panther already. So
I will say so. I got to see a Black Panther
Spicy.
in person. It's
Yeah?
not my
Nice.
style. It
Yeah.
is surprisingly nice amount of details. But so let's say the Tapisserie dial, right, of a standard Royal Oak, you've got to get really up close to it to see the details and appreciate it.
Right.
And some of the colors just don't work. The problem with the Black Panther is that if you don't have a bloody loop, like you're never going to see those details.
Right.
Right. So it did not hit the right notes.
Yeah, so a piece like this, it was just this is like I gotta be honest, I would just not impressed by this. But the
Hello.
Oh, all
I
right.
lost Marco.
Canadian
Clicked the
internet
wrong
went out
button.
again.
It's okay.
I know.
Oh, no.
Too much maple syrup. Too much maple
He
syrup.
might have.
Oh, he's back.
Welcome back.
We're
You're muted.
hijacking the stream.
Oh, there you
Your
go.
your mic's all messed up, Marco. We're not hearing you.
oh,
Wait. I think it just came back. Talk again.
Are we good?
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry.
Damn it, Charlie.
Yeah, so that one was not a great piece because it's just like a regular dial, but the blue with a sunburst has a great effect. But,
There's somebody in the Audemars Piguet headquarters DDoSing Marco right now.
right, they're trying to kick me out. They're like, this motherfucker. Diego says we actually bought that exact Tissot for another coworker who had his first kid.
Ah,
Okay.
Okay.
So in that case,
That's-
yeah, Oris is another good one.
what about
Um,
the Seiko Presage that came out a couple?
Yeah, yeah.
Would
That's a
that
good
be
one.
sell or no? I thought that was kind of a nice. It looked nice at least. It's in that price range, right?
I suggested he look at Fair, right? Fair's got those watches between 1100 and 1500. Surprisingly, and tons of different strap combinations, a few different types of leather. They do have the I won't call it a bracelet because I hate that design, but Fair's got a lot of nice stuff in that price range as well. And
what
it would
about something
be
like this?
You could go crazy and get that really cool reissue of the Bulova Computron. That would be great.
Oh, that's a good call.
That's
I-
good.
Diego's in the technology field.
I really love the Computron. I really love that watch.
Yeah,
Maybe that's something simple.
I had an original copy of that at one point of a Computron.
You can even get one of these, right? The Bulova Moonwatch.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I've got one for sale, so hit me up if you.
There you go. We got
I'm
SLC saying
consolidating the
Patek piece.
collection.
Yes,
I will
sir.
get a CD instead of that.
M Technics
what?
saying with the $5 saying the great choice. Yeah, some pretty remarkable choices here.
Marco, if I may, because I didn't actually update the people, but SLC just reminded me. So SLC was one of the very generous donors when we did the fundraiser for LZ Grace a few weeks back.
Oh,
right?
donors.
And
Sorry.
the next morning, the folks at LZ Grace figured it out, right? And they were just effectively like completely overwhelmed with the generosity of everybody who was watching JJ's stream that night.
By the way, can you just recap for the people who weren't there?
Yeah. So on JJ's Gentleman's Hangout on one of the Sunday nights, for my quote unquote birthday stream, I asked that we do a fundraiser and for LZ Grace without letting them know, without coordinating them. LZ Grace is a recovery and rehabilitation nonprofit for tier 1 first responders and special operations forces, run by a mother and daughter who her husband and the father was a Navy SEAL. So people donated. We gave out a Seiko monster to the top donor, and a book to the runner-up, which was SLC, which is why this reminded me. We raised at the end of it. So this was the surprise. By the end of it, the next morning, they had over 3,000 US in donations. So there were a number of people who donated that we didn't find out until later. And the way they figured it out is that we had quite a few donations from overseas as well, which isn't normal for them, right? So they went hunting it. So they were really touched, SLC, and there's a number of people I see in the chat that donated, and some people on this panel that donated. So really appreciate it, guys. It went over really well.
Yeah, well, it's pretty incredible. You know, anytime you can use the platform to give back to people, that's what it's all about. Just want to pull this up. M Technic with the $5 saying they're great choices. Yeah, for sure, guys. The choices here. I mean, the way people's collections have evolved over time, it's pretty crazy to see. You know, like where people start and where they've taken their collections to in the last 9 or 10 months.
It does work kind of large. It's 45, so it's pretty big.
Yeah, that is technical.
Cool.
Oh yeah, here's the sea of Rolex that I wanted to show you. So this is basically what it was like in most people's, like this was BQ watches, but yeah, this is basically what it was like, right? So
Is that Beijing?
No, those at the watch show, London
yeah,
watch show.
the London Watch Show, yeah.
But Marco, like for instance, just curious, like what you're showing right here, just that picture, right?
Yeah.
Are all of those box papers complete sets?
Yeah, they'll be complete sets.
Not like over polished, nightmares, like basically pretty good kind of, or is that just Rolex in name only, but kind of from a market reality, they're sort of like, damaged goods?
Yeah, no, I think I'm pretty sure they're all complete set. Most of them were in very good condition. Some were polished, obviously. But yeah, most of them were in good condition overall. But it just, like the thing I wanted to kind of people to take away, right, was, it's not like a show where you're going to learn very much, right? It's like very much a trading heavy show. Like it's not something like if we had something in New York, or I feel what's a big market? New York, maybe Singapore, Hong Kong, you would see like a bigger variety of pieces, right? And that was kind of the only thing that was a little disappointed by, but I understand at the same time, right? They're there
That's
to
the market
sell
there. That's the market
Right.
there.
Also, kudos to Paul Thorpe, who I didn't know until you guys were telling me, was key and instrumental in pulling it together. So, it was touch and go there for a while too. So I wager they would have had a lot of trouble getting even a wider group of vendors there.
So Pendulum just sent me an email saying these are some of my AP and will give up for the code. So these are some of his APs and that he will get. So this looks like a concept tourbillon. I think this is the Beast, right? The original Beast. As it's known. This is another concept. My goodness. Pendulum. I think this is a third concept.
Yeah.
See that one?
They're trying to compete with Hublot?
This is the Beast. And this is the better picture. My goodness. Oh, there's one more. This is the other one that he sent.
Oh.
This is a nice. This is really nice.
Yeah, I don't know
This is
how I
my
would give
favorite
that
one.
one up for the code.
Yeah, I wouldn't give that.
Saying he would give up whatever one of these for which code? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know the code perpetual, right? I think it's the perpetual.
Oh, for the perpetual, then yeah, I would give this
Yeah.
one up for the perpetual as well.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would give up one of the what's it called? You have three.
Pull up the code perpetual, man.
Yeah, I'd give up one of the concepts, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would give up
yeah,
one of the
same.
concepts.
Huh. Okay. I thought that the concepts were supposed to be like one of the hottest, most.
That's why you give it up, right? That's why you give it
Yeah,
up.
but I think also if you have that many of them,
Right.
he's giving up one of them. I think it's a
Right.
different.
It's an easier to say. He's got 3. Okay, just give one. And then he has 2.
That's
I
a
saw-
picture of it.
Yeah, let me just pull this up very quickly. If it's fine, as
Oh, so this way he's going
you
for
want
the
me to just pull it up?
perpetual, not the one that we.
Say again. Sorry.
What's your watch? What's your watch on the wrist? The Lange.
The Longines big eye.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
There you go.
I
That looks
love
very nice.
those pushers. Like for
Yeah.
mushroom pushers, they did a good job on that.
I'm really, really happy with it, and I've been really picky about Chronos, and this one it wasn't crazy expensive, and it's just great bang for the buck. Really
Oh,
happy.
Well,
yeah,
all
a
these
lot of value
pictures
on that.
suck.
Yeah.
That's not a horrible picture, but yeah, no, this is. I saw this in the Miami boutique. Yeah, it's. I'd trade pretty much anything for that. Like it's
I have to
stunning.
admit, that's really nice. I'll say that. How much is what? I must have missed it. What's the price for this?
Expensive.
I think it's, I
Rose gold.
sincerely think it's like $239 US.
Pull up the 5712.
I'd rather have an Acrivia. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Guys, sorry I've been so quiet lately. My phone has been blowing up with text.
85,000 US.
Oh,
I wonder
wow.
from who.
Is that how much?
No, that wasn't the one I was looking at then.
You have stabbed me in the back. You're dead to me.
Okay, let's not even go there.
Let's not go there. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
let's not go there.
All right.
Michael, can you put the 5712 Patek?
Sure.
Because it has the moon phases. It's kind of similar to that one. The complication.
Yeah, but it's very different. To be fair, very different. There we go.
So wait, I was confused. Was that code like 240 or 85? What were you guys saying about that?
Code 1159.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so they're not-
I'm looking up what the retail is because I thought the retail was a very substantial 6-figure, but apparently not because it wouldn't have dropped that much on the secondary.
No, yeah, I think that's the price.
Yeah, about. I
So
think
about
it sells
88,000.
about retail. I don't know what the retail was actually. That's a great question.
I mean, that makes more
Rose gold.
sense to me than the $225,000. Like,
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh my god.
No, there was. That's what I'm looking up now because when I was in the Miami boutique, the one they had, they weren't selling, and it was a 6-figure.
Oh,
And I'm
See, I
wondering
have
if
a
it was
problem with this. Look at this. You see the problem with this?
what's your problem?
The spacer.
with this.
Look at the spacer.
Not what's your problem.
Look at the spacer, Todd. Come on, this is.
Well, you know how the 1159 got its name, right?
You see the spacer? There's a spacer.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Like, why? Why? I don't get it.
Well, you know how the 1159 got its name, right?
What's the story?
The design was due to be turned in at noon.
Okay, that's not a bad. That's not
Ouch.
a,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, other than the movement not fitting the case, which is a big disappointment now. Now I can't get over this.
Well, okay, but that's on the perpetual. On the other 1159s, they use that. Oh my god, I can't remember. It's in the new 15500 Royal Oaks as well. It definitely fits better. I think Captain and I both spoke about this that they're gonna hit their groove with the 1159 here fairly soon because some of the newer dials are getting really close, and the codes will definitely be hot commodities then.
Put a rainbow bezel on that. You're good to go.
Just
You know,
rainbow bezel fixes everything.
I don't understand. I mean, look, I'm sure they do this with marketing, right? Where they don't have, in terms of the dials, when this first came out, it was so much controversy, right, over the dials, and I've heard the comparisons to Daniel Wellington, blah, blah, blah. I mean, can't you, like, market test that? Like, you
They
know,
probably,
hundreds
they probably
like,
did, and the problem for them, Cap, is they're a victim of their own success with the Royal Oak.
right.
Very
yeah,
much so.
That's true.
Right, like because like they weren't trying to. This was trying to compete for like the same mark that Mille area would go for, right?
Right.
So they're just a victim of their own success with the Royal Oak. That's what
Right.
happened here. Because I don't think anybody would be trashing them nearly as bad if this came out from like any other luxury brand.
I was
but-
also privy to some information from one who knows more than I, that the head of AP, this current CEO, rules with impunity and doesn't feel the need necessarily to necessarily beta test things, or cloud test things. Like
Really?
classic example is with the Black Panther. Just had an idea and wanted to run with it. The 1159 just had an idea and wanted to run with it. I think that the current the drop that you all saw this week of all the bejeweled, bedazzled, is another example of that. And evidently, it's creating a tremendous amount of friction. And from the person who knows far more than I says that the CEO is very much skating on extremely thin ice right now.
Really?
Yes.
Holy.
Are you
bombshell,
serious?
Batman.
I thought it would have been the opposite. I thought AP
Somebody
just
who I really trust, and I mean, I would never say I don't know these things, but this is somebody who's very much on the inside and has been for a long time and knows.
That's interesting because he pulled that whole stunt with the GPHG, like threatened to pull out because AP had never won anything of of like significant merit, and they were always pissed about that.
Right.
And then like they got it for like the Super Sunri for the AP 1159, and then Benny Hamas, who's the CEO, like went out and was like, I told you guys this, that, and the other, and it's like, dude, you got it because the GPHG wanted your money. Let's be honest, and they wanted you to stay there. Like that's the only reason why. Like, but yeah, that guy's. I mean, he's known for being a very, very, very nice person, and yeah, So hey, man, couldn't have happened to a better guy.
I have to go.
I neither own any of the watches by chance, nor do I know the guy, so it's not like I know anything about it.
Right.
They should go back into the archives, dust them off, make some tweaks here or there.
But they have done that with the jewels, right? They've done that with the jewels. They've done that with the they've done that.
Well enough.
They have
There's also
wonderful designs, especially I think the individualized chronographs. We've discussed this before. Those pieces from the 1940s are just. I mean, for me, that's the apogee of AP design, aesthetics, and build. And they were essentially all one-offs, or made in very short runs of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. But basically all individual. And I just think that these are some of the most beautiful chronographs ever, complicated ever made, and each one is different, and no two are alike. They're just amazing, and the fact that they don't go back and use these to kind of reinvigorate, a patrimony line.
Yep.
Still is astonishing to me, because I would actually really very much like to find a beautiful 1940s complication, a paper complication in really good condition, which is super hard. It's just that the prices, like I found one, kind of along the lines of the second one there on the left, that's slightly larger, and the asking price is 7 figures.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's not going to happen, obviously. But that's where these things are going, kind of. So
A couple of these look like owls. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Levin, he
great.
gave us that bit of well-repeated insight. There was something else that happened with AP fairly recently, and I only caught this because when I post pictures on IG of my Royal Oaks, I had a massive response from China. So I have a whole bunch of people I've interacted with in mainland China that have codes, that have millenaries. Very, very popular there. And then about a month ago, the APCO called Taiwan a country. And a whole bunch of Chinese spokespeople and like pop stars that were associated with AP dumped AP. And this was apparently a huge deal over there. And it caused a serious ruckus in like the value of the watches in the mainland market, in particular Hong Kong. I don't know how it affected Taiwan, but those type of things will, like, if you rule with him, if you're a tyrant, right, and you screw up your largest emergent market or your largest market, period, right, those type of things will get you walked straight out of the door.
Because according to the People's Republic, Taiwanese is Taiwan is simply a breakaway
Province. It's a province.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just very quickly, McLovin says AP pumps out 40,000 watches per year. If they were all roller load 50 and 500, they would sell them all. Maybe not all, but probably a significant portion, right? Very, very significant portion.
Yeah.
And we got Pendulum with another $10 saying, I do believe VC will surpass expectations. Excellent people running the company. Yeah, I think their heritage, like their histories collection, their heritage inspired, redesigns is really where they shine. I think they've hit it out of the park. They finally got, that sports watch that they can rely on, as a sales booster, right? Let's call it what it is, right? It'll be able to grant them sales in other areas. But another thing of note, in my opinion, is they only make, 20,000 or so watches a year,
Yeah,
right?
VC's 20,000, AP's
So-
40, Patek's 60.
Right. So it's half of what AP is doing and a third of what Patek is doing. And I think that's important to note, right? Because it's not like they can just pump out 10,000 more watches, right? They need the watchmakers, the people who are able to, the finishers, people to decorate the movements. They would really need like a significant increase in manpower. And it's not easy to find that in Switzerland, right? It's just, there is a shortage of talent. It's just a fact, right? And that was brought. Sorry, go ahead.
What do you think about what Rainier, Catherine Rainier, I'm mispronouncing your last name, is doing over at JLC?
See, I don't follow JLC much, so I wouldn't be able to speak on that.
Yeah,
Since
Steve,
she's
if
taken
Stefan
over,
was here.
right? Since she's taken over, like a whole bunch of the Master Geographic, like a whole bunch of really popular watches, just disappeared. They're just gone, right?
Really?
And I'm curious, like they're definitely consolidating and streamlining their offering. They're on the sports side, basically the Polaris and everything Polaris. The Master sports watches have almost completely evaporated. There were a couple of good Master sport watches. The reversers have also consolidated a lot. I'm curious how she's going to end up doing there, because JLC's had such a hard time establishing like recognition beyond, the quote unquote watchmaker, right, moniker.
Yeah. I mean, they still do, if I'm not mistaken. They still make movements and parts for companies, right? For brands, for watch brands. So I think part of the revenue comes from there, and obviously they have the watch sales portion as well. But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I don't know much about JLC, so I don't know if anybody else can speak on that.
Okay, Marco, pardon me. It's bedtime. I kind of have to get off, but thanks for having me on.
Hey, no worries, man. You take care.
Take care. Have a good night.
And guys, make sure you
Later.
subscribe, and tell all your friends about this channel.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, buddy.
Yeah.
Clove.
I just want to bring this up from M Technic saying, in business with China, there are 3 forbidden teas: Tiananmen Square, Tibet, and Taiwan that would get your
Very
business
true.
cut lost immediately. That's fair.
Well,
I mean,
fair.
Yeah. Well, fair is in like, yes, that's true.
That's a
Sorry.
fair assessment. That's
Yeah,
a
it's
fair
fair
assessment.
But technically, Taiwan is the original government. When General Chiang Kai-shek,
Let's not get
retreated
into
Don't,
it.
yeah, don't.
No, we're not
Let's
touching
not
this.
get
We're not
into
touching
it.
this. We're
Let's
not
not
touching
get
This is off topic.
More bourbon, please.
Right.
Exactly.
More poppy,
Todd has the
right?
idea.
More
Todd has
poppy.
the
One
idea.
bourbon.
So, Todd, have you opened that bottle of? You haven't opened it, right? The
Wait.
Poppy Von Winkle.
I'm not going to. I mean, that was a special gift. They gave me 2 amazing bottles, and that one I'm not going to open. It's
That's spectacular.
a very It's just like I feel awkward. It's almost like too expensive. I don't know really what I'm going to do with it, but right now I'm just
It's for enjoyment. Come on, it's like watches, right? What are you not going to wear your watches?
You're right. You're 100% correct. But maybe I just want to think about it a little bit.
I got you.
Right.
Yeah, you're looking for that right occasion, right? There's those pieces in your collection. You wait for that right occasion.
Marco, I mean, Dr. Levin, he's letting you down easy. The right occasion is not on your screen.
Yeah, we should really call him Dr. Lemon. I mean, he does have 2 PhDs.
No, that's his choice. That's his call.
No, he wants to be called Todd. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a habit from years of growing up in academia and whatnot. So I'm the first person on either side of the family not to get like a PhD at 16 or whatever it was. So I was a disappointment to my family. Sort of.
You're
So-
a failure.
So I think that brings up, since we kind of brought up the whiskey conversation, I think that brings up an interesting point, right? Which is the collections outside of watch collecting, right? I don't know about you guys, but man, collecting has started to consume my life. Like, it's not a good thing. Like, I got the watches, right? Before watches, well, I mean, I've been into watch, but you know, during obviously the watch collecting process, I've done ties, I've done cufflinks. Now I'm getting into colognes. I have one pen. I'm probably going to get some more pens, right? Like, it's just an unending process of collecting. I'd love to get.
Jesus. Yeah.
I know. I'd love to get people's like, what other things are you guys into other than watches? Cap could probably speak on this.
Depends.
Well, it depends. I kind of went in phases, and a lot of it has to do with these YouTube rabbit holes that we go down.
Unfortunately, it's true.
Currently, it's watches, but I mean, you could learn about anything that you want, and then go down that rabbit hole. So, but I would say
knives. Knives.
I went down the Chris Reeve rabbit hole.
I went down the ties. It was more to like hone in. So,
one second. I'm gonna open it up.
You buy a bunch of stuff, then you figure out what you really want. You get rid of the stuff you don't want. That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's an Umlunzan.
Oh, I recognize that quicker.
Yes,
I know a
thank
couple
you
people
very
have
much.
gotten into the knives, right? Cap got into the knives. Ari
Watch.
did.
I got into it, but
I've been into it.
I bought 2 knives. I'm good. It's some of them.
Yeah.
Legal to carry? Are those both of them that we saw? Are those legal to carry?
So this,
Well,
in Canada, this is legal. Yes, barely legal. Like, I would never. I would only buy it from a Canadian distributor because half the time it gets confiscated. You try to bring it across the border.
Okay,
But,
so the blade, correct? Like, it can only.
The blade is within spec. It doesn't have any help to open it. It's not like a flick.
Right.
That's completely illegal. Like under the Canada code, like it's not
You're
even
gone.
close.
Right.
Yeah,
you're going to jail.
You're going to jail basically.
Yeah.
It's like,
Wow.
They will arrest.
Yeah,
Wow.
this I bought from a Canadian outdoor distributor, so I know it's legit. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I just
I'm
wanna
in
say
Arizona.
hello to the watch guy.
Arizona,
Hope you're doing well, man.
anything short of a nuke is legal.
It's literally the Wild West. So
Yeah.
So one thing, Marco. Another one, shaving soap. I got into that.
Are you
Oh.
joking? Shaving?
Is there a rabbit hole for shaving soap?
There is.
I
I
need to shave, Cap. So I'm gonna have to look
the
into
brush and whatnot, and you have to use like.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I know
It has certain kind of hair, certain kind of animal hair for the brush.
I have a synthetic brush.
You know
but-
what I learned years ago
Ah.
using the brush and the shaving soap is the
Yeah.
brush itself. If you're prone to razor burn or razor bumps,
Mhm.
the brushing process itself helps like condition the pores and stuff like that, right?
I've heard that before.
So
You're absolutely
if
right.
you don't want to use the
Absolutely
soap,
right.
if you don't want to use the trouble of soap, just get the brush, and that'll help with
I
that.
didn't even mention cigars, right? Cigars. That's
Yes.
another
That is
one.
a big
Cigars,
one,
another
right?
one.
Cigars.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Whiskey.
Right.
finally good.
bourbon.
Is your friend Mike? Our friend
Any
Mike, is he
liquor.
around? He sent me a bunch of cigars.
Right.
It was
Are
awesome.
you enjoying those? I hope you're enjoying them.
We're gonna start. Well, like I said, it's our
Wait, you
anniversary
haven't-
week, so we're gonna have. I've kept it. So I seasoned the humidor because he sent me a humidor as well. I was like, oh my gosh,
Okay, yeah.
such a generous guy. But anyway, yeah, it's up to 70, and
really
we're trying
nice.
to keep the house 70 degrees. But yeah,
You know what? The,
I would do
the
60.
collection
I
I've
try to
seen.
keep it under 70. Like, if you can do 68, like even 65 is probably ideal. Like 65 to
is too
68.
I've
60.
read a couple of different things.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
70 they say is too warm. From what? Anyway, it's.
I'm in Arizona. So did I
Yeah,
mention
yeah.
I was in Arizona?
Yeah.
these electricity bills. Woo.
The coolest collection I've seen in real life, and it was the
Yeah.
most bizarre collection at the same time, was a collection of Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
This gentleman
Interesting.
he got so into Dr. Pepper that anytime anybody traveled someplace, they would be in Dr. Pepper back, and he could tell you with 100% accuracy every time what state it came from. Like blind taste, that's what state it came from. And in a lot of cases, he could tell you, like in the case of Texas and California, where they have apparently slightly different bottling plants between two different parts of the states, what city it might have come from. And he put together this massive collection of Dr. Pepper, like can information and bottle information and all. Like, it was just massive. He was
Mine's
so
really
ridiculously into it. And he was, I guess, I forget what it is, like 23 spices or something, right? That they put in Dr. Pepper, whatever that is. And then he had this whole table of like which ones don't actually put in all the spices, like all the flavors. Like in some markets, they actually don't put them all in, and which ones had. He had it all broken down. It was the most fascinating collection I'd ever seen. They said consumed it. He was
Amazing.
70 something at that point. He'd consumed them for 50 years.
My goodness.
That's-
Baseball cards.
That's like
comic
Warren
books.
Buffett type of
Yeah.
level with the cherry Coke, right?
We all
Shot
need a
glasses.
hobby. We all need a hobby. Yeah, shot glasses. Is that what you're showing us,
Yep.
Nibirum? Yeah.
Yep.
Is that like
What
a
shot
rabbit
glasses?
hole?
Let me see if I have
Or
different
whiskey glass? I'm sure whiskey glass.
A whiskey glasses
how about
is a total rabbit hole. Whiskey
Right,
glasses.
right. Yeah.
How about
yeah.
GMT
Hundreds of
Superman
dollars on one.
collection?
Yeah.
Cap.
GMT
Oh yeah, GMT's
There's one-
Superman collection. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god!
Even
that's
like there's
so
the
wonderful.
balls, right? To like the
Oh,
Whiskey
Yeah,
stones.
yeah, the
Whiskey
whiskey
stones for the.
yeah, the
for
whiskey stone. That's what they're
Yes.
called. The balls.
Yes.
That's-
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Busy brings up a good point, saying AP wants to transcend watches and become the luxury brand experience. They took a big leap with their new hotel next to their AP museum. So to be fair, I think most brands want to do this. I think Rolex has really been the one, in my opinion, that has transcended the watch industry. So they compete with other luxury brands as a
Yes.
lifestyle brand, as opposed to,
I agree.
really a what's it called, the watch brand. I think every other brand is trying to become like that, and so they try to take, be it with hotels or what have you, to become that lifestyle.
They've
brand.
gone boutique only AP, right? Am I right?
Yeah, they are
that's,
boutique
that's,
only.
yeah, that's right. They've shut down all their ADs in Canada. They're going to have one boutique in Vancouver, and that's it for the whole country.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're not buying, the Super Sunrise up in Switzerland, you ain't getting no Royal Oaks in Vancouver. Yeah, good luck, man. Good luck.
I'm saying, why Vancouver and not Toronto or Ottawa?
I'm not
Vancouver's a
sure
big-
why. That's a good.
The thing is big money, and it's mostly, I think, the Asians, right? Because AP is big in Asia as well. So I think that's probably
It's
one
more
reason.
centered in that market. I would agree.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
So I
Toronto
think-
would be a logical place as well, but they'll start there. Maybe they'll eventually open.
Vancouver has more money than Toronto, to be fair, or as much,
Or-
if not more.
For
So now that you said
watches,
that,
Yeah.
the
I mean,
Shang-Chi,
period, right? Just
Yeah.
period. They have a
The
lot
Sh-
of money in Vancouver.
the Shang-Chi tourbillon that's coming. That's coming.
you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's probably
That
coming.
wouldn't surprise me.
10 rings. It's gonna have 10 tourbillons on
Oh my
it.
god.
So Todd, let me ask: are you into anything else other than the watches, and I guess whiskey as well?
Well, sure. I mean, I collect jazz,
Yeah, right.
first pressings, art,
Awesome.
which makes sense. Bourbon and whiskey. Well, whiskey. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, I mean, I think that those are the three, things fundamentally. And watches, I guess, sort of, kind of now. I have a grand total of 4, so they're probably a collection, but I'm getting there. But that's kind of something I just want to do one a year.
Yeah.
I don't want to collect a whole bunch. I just want to get something super special, basically on an annual basis, and do that for a couple more years, 5 more years, and then that'll probably be it. I mean, I'm not going to do it forever.
I think that's great. It also takes away the fun if you just get everything all at once, right? There's got to be that hunt. There's got to be a process to collecting. There's got to be that development over time. And I think people who are just buying for the sake of buying are definitely not in for the long haul. They'll burn out.
JJ, are you listening? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey Todd, I got a
You know how
question for
many
you
knives
actually.
he has?
I got a question
I
for
know.
Todd. Got a
Go
question
ahead.
for Todd about his the first pressings you said that you like to get.
Yeah.
Is there an audio significance to the first pressing in terms of quality of the audio, or is it just purely that this was the first edition and that's what you wanted?
A fair question. I'm sure many people would probably make the argument that the former argument you made about, this is the original pressing, and therefore there's this. I listened to it with a incredibly expensive tube amp and speakers the size of a Volkswagen, and
Yeah.
But I mean, I've done a lot of listening to music in my life. I have a doctorate in music as well as art history, so I've done plenty of listening to music. I have a decent set of ears, and I don't feel the need to have to go that crazy with stereo equipment to get the level of clarity and enjoyment aesthetically that I want out of the album. So it's not that. It's really about. I hope I can explain this right, Ari. It makes sense.
It's okay.
When the album was when an album was first released.
Mhm.
It was these jazz albums. They didn't think they would ever be, pop albums, right? So they were done in very limited releases initially, like maybe 500 or 1,000 in the first. 1,000 would have been a big first release for, say, Blue Note. Usually it might have been 500 or 300
Interesting.
even. And so that's the ones that I collect from the 50s are now 60 years old. So
Right.
out of that first 500 that were released from 60 years ago, first of all, how many even still exist? Because records get used and abused in record collections. Some of them go to public libraries and get abused, whatever. So of the few that are left, how many of them are in not just listenable condition, but even, I would say, significantly, for me, it's determined as very good plus or better, both for the album and for the album cover, because album covers take a beating, always have.
Yes.
People throw them around, the seams split. You probably all had that experience where a seam is split.
I have, yeah.
And all this. So finding something that has no seam splits in very good condition for the cover and for the album that's 60 years old. And what you're holding in your hand at the very least is when the musician cut that music, this is the first release that said, as best as they could, this is what represents the way I exactly want you as the listener to experience it. Not like a later digital manipulation where they clean up the, and make the silences really silent, or they expand the bass, or they, juice the high end or whatever. Like these original pressings were what they wanted at the time, given the technique and the abilities that they had of the day. And so to me, there's something about holding that original thing.
It's history. Really. Yeah. Okay.
It's very powerful. It sounds corny, but that's kind of, I'll listen
corny to me.
Recording and I'll think, oh, it sounds just as good. In fact, I listen many times to contemporary recordings, so I don't have to play the old ones because I don't want, I do listen to them from time to time. They don't just sit on a shelf, but I do because I want to be able to pass them on to the next collector, and know that somebody took care of them. But so that's kind of really, it's more about the latter than the former, if that makes sense.
No, thanks for the answer. That's a great answer. I appreciate that. Appreciate the detail. Good.
Yeah, man, that's interesting. I guess it's similar in a sense to first edition prints of a book, right? To a certain extent.
Totally, because you're holding in your hand, like when the author finished that book and there was the print, like that was the first time it went into the world to be experienced by the world. And I think that's a very powerful, I just think even if they'd had mistakes in it, that were overlooked, many first printings do have errors in them that were corrected in later printings. It's very common. But errors and all, there's something about that thing going out the first time into the world that I think is holding that book in your hand. The other day, I went to Sotheby's, and as I was on the way to go look at a photography sale, there was a book sale that was taking place in a few days. So I spent some time in the books and manuscripts area, and I held in my hand the first printing of James Joyce's Ulysses. And I've read Ulysses, and it's an amazing book, but to hold the first edition in your hand from Shakespeare & Company, there's just something to that can't be replicated. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the way to describe it is, but it can't be replicated. It is the authentic moment.
Yes.
It has
one of the things that
I completely understand.
I totally understand that. One of the things I don't collect a lot of things. I mean, watches, I wouldn't even call it collecting what I did with watches. But one of the things I actually pay attention to is I get rare newspapers, like from Timothy Hughes and those type of places. So Gentleman's Magazine out of London, right? I've got a couple of Gentleman's Magazine from 1776 covering the Revolutionary War, right? Yes. In a London magazine. And just having that is completely different. And reading the drafts, the different versions of the Declaration of Independence that went out, stuff like that, stuff that I didn't even know existed in some cases. I was never taught in school some of these things, right?
Oh no, it's so fascinating. I mean, I'll answer this other question for SLC, but I just wanted to say that when I worked at Sotheby's for 4 years, like between 93 and 97. Okay, and while I was there, all sorts of amazing things passed through an auction house, as you can imagine, if you've ever had the opportunity. And one of those years, somebody had found in the back of a picture frame that they bought in a flea market folded up very carefully, and then slipped into the back of the frame, you know, like with cardboard over it. They found one of the original 13 copies of the Declaration of Independence.
Wow.
That was, you know,
awesome.
one went to each colony, to the central city in that colony, and it was originally nailed up on July 3rd on the side of the primary church in the main city in that colony. And that's how this was disseminated at the time. And one of these was found, and I couldn't hold it. Of course, it was they had already taken out. They had carefully conserved it, and it was in a frame. So you couldn't. But to just be able to
See it.
be an inch away from that thing, and know that was on the side of a church on July 3rd, 1776. That very thing. That's an immensely powerful.
Yeah.
I find emotion,
That is
emotion.
national treasure, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
No question.
just to answer SLC's question, yes, there's a couple of LPs I'm definitely been looking for in some cases like 10 years, and whether I ever find them or not, I do not know. But yes, there are definitely a few things, and it's not that they're even the most expensive things. They're just, like I said, these things got tossed around and thrown out and whatever, and sometimes even things that aren't terribly expensive are still incredibly scarce and rare, and finding them in good condition is a needle in a haystack. So,
Well, let me ask you, because hold on, I just want to get this super chat from Vince Fine Arts very quickly with a $5 saying, Todd, we have a Warhol Velvet Underground torso, unpeeled banana peel. I don't know what that means.
that's actually a great thing. But the question is it the first edition LP that has the torso upside down on the back of the album that was later blacked out because that person, I can't remember his name, one of the band members claimed a copyright suit, so they had to black out his torso. So are you saying that this one, Vince, actually has the torso on it? Because
I don't know.
that's amazing.
He can follow up, I'm sure.
That's a very rare and special thing. You guys all know the record cover, right? It's the banana, the velvet undertone, with a banana on it sticker. Yeah. Wow. That's a great thing.
I'm actually one of the other mysteries to me from this is it's Vince Fine Arts. I don't recall seeing Vince Fine Arts on any of our watch streams before. So did Dr. Levin suddenly through sheer gravity?
Is it this right here?
Yeah, that's it. And then it shows if you scroll just to your left, it'll show what it looks like when it's peeled. See, there's a banana underneath. It's a sticker that actually peels off, and most people peeled off the sticker, right? It's like the butcher cover from the Beatles LP. Most people peeled off that fake cover to get the butcher cover underneath, but damaged the value of the album. So if you can find one that's unpeeled like this, that's in really good, clean, fresh condition, they're very rare and hard to find, and they bring decent money.
He said yes, it's the torso. That's interesting.
Torso one. So that's the first pressing.
So let me ask you, Todd, because I know with for example, with Ben Clymer, when it comes to vintage watches, for example, he likes to buy pieces from the original owner. He likes original owner or dealer who can prove that he bought it from an original owner. Is it kind of the same way with you with art and
No, I mean, it's always nice when a wonderful work of art, like just this week, there was a photographer, I'm sure many of you know the name, Ansel Adams, great American photographer, landscape photographer of the great American West. One of his most famous, maybe arguably his most famous image, the Snake River Tetons, came up, and it was an extremely rare print. The last one that appeared was in 2012. So, been 10 years since this print had come up. And this was, a situation where you didn't know when the next one was going to come, Marco. So, that's that image of the print. It's a very, very famous print in the annals of photography. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess when it comes to that kind of stuff, I guess watches is a little different because art is probably even more scarce than watches, right?
Yeah, Marco, what I meant to say, I'm sorry, is that print had been bought by this couple who were in their 80s from a gallery in Detroit. and had it all these years. They weren't art collectors. They didn't have any other stuff, but they just bought it back then because it was very inexpensive, I'm sure, and they liked it. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful image. Sat in their collection all these years, and I guess now they had to sell some things and do some stuff. And so they brought it to Philips, and they were like, we think this is a good thing, but we really don't know anything, like we've had it all these years. And they're like, yeah, it's worth $300,000. $50, maybe $50, back in 1979 when they bought it. Sure. And it was really great that it came from that from that one collection, because it hadn't been mucked with, it hadn't been through multiple dealers' hands. That does add a little bona fide, I think. Sometimes there's a sense of discovery to somebody who's owned a thing for all those years. I think that there's something to it, but if a great work of art has gone through multiple hands, multiple gallerists, multiple collectors, back and forth, been at auction a few times, that certainly wouldn't stop me from buying it any more than it would stop me from buying a great watch if it were really a great watch that had been through multiple hands. So provenance sometimes counts, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes a single owner. But I think Ben's point with the vintage watches is that since it's a one owner thing,
it hasn't been.
He can
mess around.
Was it cared for properly or not? What did you do or didn't you do? There's more guarantees that way. If the watch has been through multiple people's hands, you can't go back to the third owner, before the person you're buying it from, and ask them how did they handle it, and then the second person before them, how did you handle it? And I think with vintage watches, this is why I don't buy them, because I think there's such a minefield with have the hands been replaced? Has the thing been replaced? Certain, what innards have been replaced? Has the face been slightly, conserved or something like that? Is the loom still real? All these crazy questions that come up. With a one owner watch, I think you can get to the heart of the issue. I think that's what Ben's thinking is.
Yeah. But I guess also when it comes to art, or even, for example, first edition, those what's it called, the music prints, right? I think there's probably more watches out there than there are pieces of art, right? There's in some cases maybe they're.
I don't know. It's hard to know because remember, art goes all the way back. I mean, I deal with artworks that are 2,000 to 3,000 years old. There's a lot of art over a couple thousand years. Watches are a relatively new paradigm compared to art. So they can be produced at a much faster rate, admittedly, currently, but art has had a much longer timeline. So I don't know. That's a good question. More watches than art, or more art than watches now?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're looking for a vintage, 3-to-1 Speedmaster, right? There's been X amount produced, X amount in good condition. I guess art, works of art, right? There's only, maybe a handful that an artist will make of that specific one, right? Before you have to move on, to let's say a CK2915, for example, right? If we're comparing different things, right? Same brand or same artist, but different work.
Hard to know. Yeah, very hard to.
Okay. Duco Ted just said, well, he talked me out of getting a Rolex coat. Yeah. Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I passed on one too, Duco.
And Vince Fine Art saying Todd also have an original sheet of unpeeled banana stickers.
Yeah, I've seen them. Those are that's a great piece of ephemera.
No idea what that means, but hey, it sounds good, I guess.
So in that case, the value is in the box, not the record, correct?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Sometimes no. Well, it's both. The record has to be in good condition because nobody's going to buy an album cover and accept that the LP itself is in poor condition. So there needs to be some sort of balance at the very least. But sometimes the album cover is more prized, like in the case of the Beatles' famous Yesterday and Today cover, the Butcher cover, which is their arguably the most famous record cover in the history of record covers ever. And sometimes, the cover's far less important, and it's just that the LP itself has maybe a very rare cut on it, or maybe many weren't produced, and so due to scarcity, so it's different every time. Every single time, it's a different dynamic.
I was asking because I'm aware that Andy Warhol was a plastic artist. It was not a musician. That's why.
Right, but he managed. He sort of like was the manager, loosely using that term. But this was like Lou Reed's first gig, so this is like very, very important historically. Like this is Nico and Lou Reed, and this was the beginning of a certain like the underground grungy sound that you identify now with bands like from Nirvana forward. Started here. This is really the beginning of grunge. To be quite honest, the underground sound is with Nico and the Velvet Underground. Hence the word. Underground that it came from them literally. So it's the beginning of a crucial artistic movement in a certain way.
Very nice. Interesting. I guess all these things are kind of interrelated, right? Music, art, watches. Yeah, I mean, even you can take it to like it's the pursuit of a higher, I guess, of like a higher collection, right? Like they're all kind of collector bases that all kind of interlink to a certain extent. Like very much music guys or watch guys, or art guys can be watch guys as well.
You didn't mention cars.
Cars, another one.
Right, vintage cars with provenance, and you go back to tracing a car back to like one owner. You know what they did with it. Did they care for the engine?
Right.
Did they modify the car? So it's hard to trace that back. You have multiple owners.
Yeah, look at George Daniels, right? He's famous for being like one of the most important like car collectors and restorers, at least on the other side of the pond. So there's like the perfect car watch guy for you. 100%.
By the way, I just want to say hello to my man, Mr. GMT. Hope you're doing well.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
He's going good. Yourselves? All good?
Got the new purchase on the wrist.
I love the hat, by the way.
Yeah, the hat is so European. I love it.
I'm sorry. I'm blind. I'm blind. 1 second.
Closer.
DJ Champagne.
Wow. Really?
Wow.
Wow, that's
something a little bit old school, as they say.
Right.
I think it's really good. Really great.
And Technic saying heroin chic imagery came from Warhol's work.
Heroin, Marco.
Oh, heroin.
That's okay.
Heroin chic imagery.
Heroin chic. Yeah.
Hold on, I have to look these things up because this is a whole new world for me. Wait, so are we talking about this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that'll come out of, if you look at Nico, pictures of Nico from the 1960s, if you Google pictures of Nico, you'll see that who is the lead singer for the Velvet Underground, hence that album. That's where this look comes from.
Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's that picture, it says The Guardian or whatever, like that's a picture of the band on that first row you had there.
This right here?
Yeah, like there you go.
Very interesting. When was this? Like the 70s, let's say?
No.
Before that?
Yeah. They're all stoned as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it on their face.
They look like Sex Pistols.
Duco Ted saying, it's fun to see the world go more digital with crypto and now NFT art / collectibles, but in the same breath, run towards analog watches and art. That's a good point. Yeah. It's true, right? Because NFTs now are kind of the next stage of art, if you will. I mean,
I think they're really more the next stage of collectibles. I mean, I've been with NFTs for like 3 years now or so, and the art that's been produced thus far with the tokens attached, with the digital art that's been produced with NFTs attached, right? Because the NFT is just a token. It's has nothing. It's not a medium. It's just a token. The medium is something that's created in the metaverse, usually digitally produced. Yeah. Most of the digital work is not quite there yet, unfortunately. But I think it will get there, and it'll be really interesting, when it does. But right now, it's been best suited to, collectible things like the equivalent of trading cards, like the Bored Apes and the Bored Yacht Apes and all that, kind of collectibles that people buy and trade with one another. It's much better suited to that.
I guess does it relate to like how when you see, let's say, a watch in a press release versus a watch in real life, are like two completely different things? Like what's it called? Like an art piece online is just not the same as you would if you like experience it in person, if you will.
Well, no, because you can experience that by having a screen in your house and then displaying the digital artwork on a screen, and you have, a phenomenological experience with that thing in the same way you would with a painting or a photograph, looking at it. But it's more just the medium is very new. I remember there's a great quote by an artist, John Baldessari, back in the 70s when video art, for instance, was just beginning and becoming a thing. And he said, I'm experimenting with it now, but I'm too old. Like when my kids or my grandchildren are using this medium the way I use a pencil today, then we'll really start getting somewhere. So he's talking about a certain kind of facility with the medium and technique, making it really elastic and having a really useful sense for artists. Because right now it's still very technical. They're still just trying to figure out how it works. And they're not really doing anything terribly interesting with it in terms of, art per se.
Right.
But it'll come. It's going to happen. No doubt about it.
Interesting. All right, guys. I think on that note, I think it's time to wrap this puppy up. We have been going almost 2 hours now. It's been a great stream back. Looking forward to doing some more in the future now that my schedule's a little more cleared up. I'm sure in a couple of weeks I'll be complaining again that school is overwhelming. But I want to thank the panelists. We got the captain, Ari, Todd, thank you for joining as well. Liberum, Quicker Than Draw, the Watch Sasquatch, and Mr. GMT. Thank you all for joining me here tonight. And thanks to all the people who were obviously in the chat here today, hanging out with us. Really appreciate you guys rocking with us this entire time. It's been a fun stream back. And as always, guys, you got to wear your watch. This is what it's all about.
That's what you got to do.